Molweni, welcome back to another video. If you are new here and watching for the first time, hi and welcome. My name is Natasha and this is a space where we share our experiences, we learn and we grow. If you have not subscribed to the channel as yet, please do so just by clicking the subscribe button below so that you can join this beautiful family. For all the returning family members, welcome back, fam. You know the house rules. You make sure you're subscribed to the channel, you give the video a thumbs up, we interact in the comment section below, and we share the video so that we can reach more people. Okay, today I am going to be sharing with you guys, or rather giving you guys, a book review of every single book that I read in 2024. Okay, before we start the video, I just want to say that we are on our way to 3,000 family members, which is 3,000 subscribers. So please guys, if you have not subscribed to the channel as yet, please do so. It really does help a lot, even if you may not realize it. And yeah, I'm really excited about that, and I can't wait for my family to reach 3,000 people. Okay. All right, let's get straight into it then. So one thing about me, you guys, you know that I do not beat around the bush. I literally just cut to the chase and get to the point. So without any further delays, let's get straight into it. So these are all the books that I read in 2024. Listen, you guys, 2024 for me, was full of a lot of challenges. It was literally full of a lot of challenges. Like 2024 was a lot, guys. It was just a lot. Like 2024, and a lot of battles that I fought them privately, right? And I did share some stuff with family, close friends and whatever, but there are a lot of battles that I actually fought silently and by myself, right, with my God. But yeah, one thing I loved about 2024 is that it really grew me mentally. And it was one of my goals last year, was that even if, my other desires and plans and whatever don't go according to plan, I just want to grow myself mentally in every aspect. And one of my goals was to just read and grow myself mentally and open my mind to new knowledge and go on all these adventures. Because I don't know if you guys know, but there's this saying that I really love, that every book is an adventure that is waiting for you to actually go on or like partake in or whatever. And that's how I view books for me personally. It's like every time I just hold a book in my hand, I'm like, okay, what adventure am I going on? Where am I going? Who am I going to learn about? What am I going to learn? What am I going to get out of it? What lesson does this book have for me? So that's why it gets so exciting for me when I have to read. And yeah, that's exactly what I did. So yeah, anyways, let's get straight into it. So the review is gonna be precise, honest, really honest, straight to the point, and just nice, short and simple. So in no particular order, I'm literally going to be reviewing the books based on the smallest book to the biggest book or whatever in terms of size. So the first book that I read last year is this one. This book, to be really honest with you, is a great book. It's a great book. I learned so many lessons from it. And if you want to learn a lot about financial literacy, this is your go-to book, right? To be honest, the one thing I didn't really like about the book, I felt like it was a bit too repetitive. And in the sense that some of the stuff that were mentioned in one chapter would be repeated in the other chapter and so forth. So that really annoyed me a bit, because it felt like Robert was like going around circles and yeah, so that was just the only thing that I didn't like about the book. But this book is a really great book, guys. This book is a really beautiful book. Basically, the gist of the book is teaching you about two parents, or two dads rather, who see financial literacy in different ways. and basically they are both instilling financial advice into a child's life, and each advice from each parent is different, based on their background, their upbringing, their education and whatnot, and how basically the advice from each parent actually allows the child to perceive the financial world. So that was just basically my personal review of the book. But this book is a really good book. I really love how he also had a lot of history. He incorporated like a lot of history, like he'd touch up on a lot of history, financial literacy history, and he also used a lot of quotes, because one thing you guys know about me, I love quotes, guys. I love writing. So yeah, that was that, guys. But this book was a really good book. I would recommend that you get it. And I think the biggest lesson that I took out from this book was that anything that takes out money from your bank is a liability, and anything that brings money into your bank is an asset. Now, don't judge me, because I know you're going to say, yeah, but that's what we learned in high school. No, in high school, they taught it in a different way. They taught us that, I think, yeah, they taught us the same concept, but not in that sense that anything that takes money out of your bank is a liability. For example, we are taught that a house is an asset, right? But then in reality, a house is actually not an asset, because it takes money out of your bank. You have to pay for rates and taxes, water and levies, maintenance, and all of that jazz. So that automatically makes a house a liability actually, and not an asset. So that was it for Robert Kiyosaki. Second book is Speak with Power and Confidence. I hope you guys can see the books, right? Speak with Power and Confidence. This book was a good book. It shared a lot of insights on like how you can grab the attention of any audience with your first few words. It helps you in terms of how to deliver presentations, how to gain the upper hand in any negotiation, how to convey a positive professional image in any job interview. It basically prepares you on how to present yourself in a job interview, for a presentation, in the corporate world or business world. I really loved this book because I personally obviously am a speaker. So I learned a lot of lessons, guys, from this book. It's actually really a nice book. If you are in the public speaking field, or if you are a person who constantly has to carry out presentations and whatnot, this book would actually do you good if you get it. Third book is this one. Guys, this book, can we just take a moment? This book, guys, this book was an amazing book to read. I think I literally finished this book in a day. That's how good it was. I literally finished it in a day. This was one of the best books that I've ever read in my entire life, guys. The 4 Agreements. This book, I think I mentioned it in one of my videos or somewhere. I don't remember where I mentioned it. I think I mentioned it in my previous video, actually, that this book is a book that everyone needs to read. Like, everyone on the entire planet needs to read. Whether you're in primary school, high school, in your 20s, mid-20s, 30s, whatever age you are, this book is a must read. Basically, the 4 agreements are: be impeccable with your word, don't take things seriously, don't make assumptions, and always do your best. Guys, I know these sound like very simple things, but if you read the book, the way that this guy wrote the book, Don Miguel Ruiz, I don't know if it's Ruiz or Ruz, not sure, but yeah, it's Don Miguel Ruiz. The way he wrote this book, guys, it's just a beautiful book. If you don't buy any of the books that I'm going to review today, please buy this one. So yeah, the book basically just teaches you about the importance of not taking things seriously, the importance of not making assumptions, the importance of actually being impeccable with your word, and the importance of doing your best in everything that you do. But it's just the way he uses life examples and just the way he constructs everything and puts it together. It's so beautiful, clear, precise, and just beautiful. Fourth book we are reviewing is this one, Husband Twerk for Your Wife by Kabelo Kumalo. So to be really honest, this book I've had for, I think I've had this book for like 3 years. I had this book for 3 years, and the only reason why I never read it 3 years ago was because I think it was stored somewhere very far. But eventually, when I moved to the Netherlands, I moved with the book, and I told myself that I was going to read it. And I feel like it came at such a perfect year because I needed to read it in 2024. So this book is basically a book filled with lessons about how it's important for the husband to also serve the wife. Serving the wife in the sense that it's important for the husband to also do some duties in the house, like basically like chores and domestic duties, basically. So it teaches you that domestic duties shouldn't only be for the wife, but they should actually be for both the wife and the husband in the household. And the importance of having both parties help each other allows both parties to actually enjoy a greater sex life and also just enjoy a greater marriage holistically, right? So it basically gives examples of different couples, and those couples maybe are in different relationships in terms of maybe the one partner works, the other doesn't work, maybe the one couple doesn't have kids, the other has kids, and so forth. So he used Kabelo used like different examples of different couples who are in different seasons of their lives and different situations, and how, you know, each couple and whatever dynamic they were in plays a role in the happiness and the success and the satisfaction of the relationship, in the sense that, for example, let's say one couple, the one partner works and the other doesn't work, and maybe the partner that actually works comes back from work and gets home to like a filthy household, and maybe the other partner didn't clean, didn't cook, didn't do anything, and how the partner who actually had a 9 to 5 and has to come home and cook and clean and do all the duties can actually be disinterested in sex, can be disinterested in the entire relationship, and that leads to dissatisfaction and unhappiness in the relationship. Just an example. Really enjoyed it, and I think I also read it in like a day, or if not a day and a half. It was quite a quick book to read. The fourth book on our list is this one, Matthew McConaughey. Guys, this guy. This book was a good book, guys. It was a really good book. I don't want to lie. I don't have any faults for it. Like I really can't fault it, guys. I can't. I would be lying. I would really be lying. I actually didn't know who this guy was until I read this book. This book I read because it was suggested by Umpumile Dwaba, right? I think she suggested it in her book, which I'm also going to review. But I first knew about the book when she mentioned it in one of her podcast episodes. And I was like, I'm going to buy it. So that's where I bought the book from. Actually, I didn't buy it because she mentioned it in her book. I bought it because I knew it from the podcast, Wisdom and Wellness podcast. So I bought the book, I read it. It's a beautiful book. This book taught me, what did this book teach me? This book taught me to not give up on my dreams. This guy is the guy who acts in the movie with Jennifer Lopez. I think it's called The Wedding Planner. Let me just quickly check. Yes, it's this guy. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see because my phone is so filthy, guys, because I've got a toddler who watches Lama Popeye sometimes on my phone. So this is the guy. I hope you can see him. This is the guy who acts with Jennifer Lopez in The Wedding Planner. This is the guy, basically. So I didn't know that. I actually found out, and there's actually a lot of other movies that he's acted in that I actually didn't know it was him. But in any case, this book taught me to go after my dreams, to not give up on my dreams when I have that vision, to hold on to it and not give up. Because guys, this guy, and it's so amazing how I found so much of my life in this book, like so many similarities of how he grew up, the things that he went through, and I was like, this is just too much. So I loved how I connected with the book. It wasn't just about getting lessons out of it or just reading, but I felt like I was living a bit of my life, you know. through it, and I really loved that. So this is a must read. Beautiful book, beautiful book. The sixth book we are reviewing is this one. Listen, if you've never been to therapy, this book might trigger you. And that is just my honest review. Guys, this book and this book, these two books, are a must read. But let's go back to this one. This book, guys, made me cry. It made me cry when I was actually not expecting to cry. So when I bought this book, I decided that I wanted to read it in December because I wanted to start the new year, which is 2025, in a more stable emotional state. I don't know if that makes sense, So I've never been to therapy. I know I need to go. I really, really need to go. But yeah, I am planning to go to therapy. But this book made me learn so much about myself, guys. Like, I learned so much about who I am, why I am the way I am, why I respond in certain ways to certain situations, why I react in certain ways to certain situations. I also found so much of myself in the book, like so many things that I've been questioning about myself were answered in this book, like in terms of my character and maybe my personality, certain characteristics that I have and like the way I do certain things. This book actually revealed those things to me and why I am the way I am. I would really recommend this book. If there's a book that you don't read in your life, please make sure it's not this one. Please make sure it's not this one, because this book is a book that you have to read in your lifetime before you die. Please. I love the way it was also written because it's almost like a dialogue. So Dr. Perry responds to certain questions that are being asked by Oprah, and then vice versa, right? So I really loved how they did it. It made you also follow very well. The rhythm and the flow of the book was just beautiful. The only thing that I did not like, okay, not that I did not like, but that really annoyed me about the book, it didn't annoy me that much, to be honest, but it was just slightly annoying, was the fact that they had to just mention Beyonce's name. Like, it wasn't even supposed to be there. Like, like it didn't even fit in, But yeah, in one of the lines, I think Oprah just mentions Beyonce casually, and I'm just like, I can't need. And if you guys don't watch things that are happening around the world, then I don't know what you're doing with your life. But basically, if you don't know, there's just this whole, I don't think it's a speculation, but I'm going to say it's a speculation because obviously until we have proof, it's a speculation, that Beyonce is not who we really think she is. And yeah, she's basically in a, how do you say it? She's like a leader of a cult and whatever. There's certain things that I actually do believe, but I just don't understand also why, especially like during awards, like with Grammys, they always have to thank Beyonce. And it's something that was actually trending on YouTube a couple of weeks ago, that why does every artist have to thank Beyonce? Some of them are not even connected to her. They don't even they're not friends with her. They don't even interact in the industry, in the entertainment industry, but they feel the need to always thank her. Like, everyone just randomly, like, if you would go on Google right now, or not even Google, YouTube rather, if you would go on YouTube right now and just search people thanking Beyonce at the Grammys, you'll see what I'm talking about. Like, it's actually so weird and creepy that everyone feels the need to thank her. I don't understand why, but a lot of people have been saying that apparently she's the leader of whatever cult and whatever satanic things that they perform. Angas, but whatever it is that they do. And I actually do believe a part of it, because a lot of people idolize Beyonce, guys. Like, it's so crazy. It's so crazy. But anyways, this video is not about her. That's the only thing that really annoyed me about the book, because I felt like I mentioned like casually, and it just didn't need to be there. Like, it didn't fit into the whole conversation. But yeah, in the 7th book is this book, The Art of Laziness. This book I bought because I was trying to learn ways I can tackle my procrastination, right? So that is the reason why I bought this book. And it basically also just teaches you ways to overcome procrastination and boost your productivity. And yeah, it gives a lot of lessons and just practically lessons on how to overcome procrastination, and also guides and tips and advice on what you can do, what to implement, and what you should avoid doing. I wouldn't say it's the best book that I've read, or one of the best books that I've read, but it's actually a good book if you want to overcome procrastination and be more productive. The 8th book, I'm sure some of you have been waiting for this one. It's Mpumi Ledwaba's How Did We Get Here? Okay, so first thought about this book, let me tell you something. So I never mentioned this to anyone, but I was so shocked when I started reading Green Lights. Let's go back to Green Lights. So one of the chapters, page 9, let me show you guys what it says. Page 9 says, how did I get here? So I found it very shocking when I started, because I read the Green Lights, I think before I read Mpumi's book, yes. So I was really shocked when I started reading Green Lights. I was like, how did I get here? And she mentions this book in her book as a suggestion, right, of books to read. So a part of me felt like maybe she got her book title from this book. I don't know. I could be wrong. But yeah, that's the first thing that stood out for me when I first obviously learned that Mpumi had written a book and she was going to be publishing it. Guys, this book, I struggled to get it in the Netherlands. Yeah. I actually paid so much money for it, but I don't regret it. I really, really enjoyed Mpumi's book. A very, very honest review. Okay, so this book was a beautiful book, right? It was a really, really beautiful book. And I think I should really give it to Mpumi. She really went out and she was so vulnerable. I don't know if it's just me, but I think everyone's favorite chapter. Okay, it isn't my favorite chapter, but one of the chapters that really stood out for me was the 7-year itch, where she explains the challenges that she went through with Lentuku Brandon, her husband, and how she actually suggested divorce, to him, and how they wanted to get a divorce and whatever, but they didn't go through with it. She was really vulnerable, guys, in that chapter. Like, she gave it her all, and I really appreciated that about her. Generally, the book is a beautiful book. I watched other videos of people who were reviewing her book, and I felt like people are so entitled to other people's lives. Yeah. And I always say this, just because someone's life is in the public, guys, it doesn't mean that you're entitled to someone's life. Never, ever. Because a lot of people were judging her, a lot of people were trolling her, and basically they were just it was backslash, basically, but she didn't give them what they wanted. Basically, she didn't mention some things that they thought she was going to address, and the things that the people who were reviewing did mention that they wanted her to kind of like speak about her friendship breakup with Uyols, which I didn't understand. Why abantu many entitlement ingaka? People are allowed to write about what they want to write. I mean, this is her book. This is her legacy. So she must write about what she wants to write. So there was just a lot of entitlement for people that, they were expecting her to tell the whole story, what led to the friendship breakup, who did who wrong. And the people were also disappointed about how she didn't really address the whole friendship breakup with the, what was it called? The Sexy Young Wives Club or whatever. I don't know. But she had that group of friends, right? I think there was like 8 of them, whatever. And then the friendship obviously collapsed and everyone went their separate ways. Others clicked together and so forth. But people were expecting her to explain also in detail. Once again, she did touch up on her friendship breakup with the other ladies, but she was so professional about it. She just summarized it in a very quick way and a very respectful way, which is now I commend her for that. So people don't realize that the dynamics around writing a book, and I think that is one of the dynamics that certain people didn't understand. But I think there was just a whole lot of expectation from people, and I think it was really unfair on her. And I'm not even like Tetelela or anything like that, but I just feel like personally, maybe it's just emotional intelligence, but I understood the way she tackled the book and why maybe she didn't mention certain things and certain people, and why she maybe decided to omit certain things, right? But this book was really beautiful, guys. And I think it was really shocking that Mpumi wrote a book, because I remember in one of her podcasts, someone asked her, I think one of her guests asked her if she would actually consider writing a book. And I think she said no, she wouldn't, right? Excuse me. And now we are here. So I'm personally really proud of her, and I think this was generally a really great book from her. So yeah, that is my honest review, guys. This book was nice. I think the other thing also that I really like that she incorporated, she had like reflection pages where you could reflect on whatever chapter that you just finished reading. And I think this is so like Umpumi, because Umpumi loves reflecting and journaling and all of that. Is literally like a journal girl. So this was the book, and I enjoyed it, guys. To be honest, I don't have any faults. And I think also other people were satisfied, because she also addressed her whole saga with Bunolo. Is it Bunolo or Bonolo? Bunolo Monaisa. I think she's married now. Mpamo. Yeah. So she also touched up on her whole saga. If you don't know what's happening and everything that I'm saying about all these dramas, it's fine. I can't need to yaz. Drama won't do any good for you. But I knew about it, obviously, because I follow all these people, right, on social media. The 9th book we are reviewing is this book. The book by Stephanie Ike Okafor, The Power of Your Dreams. So this book I bought... I was influenced to buy this book by who did I see this book from? I think it's a girl called Lerato on social media. I forgot what her surname is, but I saw this book on her Instagram post and I was like, I am getting this book. My sole purpose for getting this book is because I am a prophetic dreamer, guys. If you didn't know, now you know. I am a prophetic dreamer, and God speaks to me through dreams a lot. So sometimes the dreams can be really hectic. Sometimes they can reveal too much about certain people and certain things. And sometimes I struggle to understand my dreams. And I bought this book with the intention of trying to understand, why I dream about certain things and whatever. But I think obviously she can't really write about, if you dream about a snake, this is what it means. If you dream about this, obviously, I think the gist of the book was just to explain where dreams come from, and the logic behind dreams and why we dream. And I think the one thing that really stood out for me in the book was when she mentioned how God created dreaming for a purpose. There's a reason why God created our bodies to sleep for a certain period of time. She basically, paraphrasing, she basically explains how there's a reason why God created sleep, and that our bodies need to sleep for a certain period of time. It's not by coincidence. There's a reason why we need to be in a different realm for that period of time, because when we're asleep, our bodies are just resting, they are peaceful, they are quiet. And there's a reason why we dream, because when we dream, we go into different realms, and it's an opportunity for God to speak to us through dreams. So I think generally we just take sleep as a normal thing. We know that, okay, you wake up, you go to work, you come back, you do whatever you need to do, and then you have to sleep, right? Because that's just how life goes. But I think after she explained that, I've never thought about it in that sense, that God could have actually created us to not have to sleep or require sleep. But there's a reason why he made the human body to require an 8-hour, at least minimum sleep period, because there's things that happen in that 8 hour that can't happen when we are awake. So this book was just a beautiful book, guys. If you're a person who also dreams a lot and you struggle to understand certain things about why you dream about them, whatever, this is the book to read. I really enjoyed reading it. I loved how she was so confident about her faith in God, how she was so open about a lot, and how she structured everything. It was just a beautiful book overall. And the 10th book we are reviewing is Nozi's book. Nozibele Mayaba, or Nozibele Kamgana Mayaba. Positively Me, Daring to Live and Love Beyond HIV. So, a little backstory. I never got to read Nozi's first book. I found out that she released another book, guys. I was like, I am making sure I get this book, Noma Ganjani. So I asked a very close friend of mine from South Africa to buy me this book. She bought it for me and she shipped it for me, guys. Can we just give her flowers, please? She shipped it for me all the way from South Africa to the Netherlands. And guys, let me tell you, I finished reading this book, I think in 2 days. That's how good it was. I couldn't put it down. Like, I was reading it in the train, in the bus. Like, it was so good. I think also the anticipation behind not being able to read the first book and now knowing that there was another book coming through, I was so excited. I couldn't wait. This book was beautiful, guys. Nozi's story was just so touching. I think one thing that I picked up from the book, and that one thing that was consistent, was that God chose her, guys. God chose her even before her HIV status. God chose her. He loved her. He poured his grace upon her, his favor. Because Nozi's life, guys, was so full of favor. Is still so full of favor, if I can put it like that. But based on her book, her life was so full of favor and grace. And you can just tell how God was just with her every step of the way. And I know that maybe it was painful in the beginning when she found out she was HIV positive. Maybe she still does go through challenges. But sometimes I feel like when I read the book, I was like, not that God allowed it to happen, or allowed her to be HIV positive, but maybe her story was supposed to go this way so that she can actually change the world. I don't know, I could be wrong, but that was what I picked up from this book. But this book was a beautiful book, guys. It was such a beautiful book. I loved it so much. So many lessons. She was so open. I think the authenticity, the genuineness, the rawness about the book, the honesty, she literally let it all out, guys. Like, she didn't hold back, and she was just so open and honest about everything in her life. I really, really loved that about the book. So yeah, that was the book. 11th book and second last book is this one. Manage Your Money Like a Effing Grown Up. The Best Money Advice You Never Got by Sam Beck-Bessinger. So this book was written by a South African author. I think he is South African, or she is. I'm not sure if it's a he or a she, right? But I think it's a he. So this book was written by a South African author, and so I actually didn't mention which ones are from South African authors. So Mpumi is a South African author, Nozi is a South African author, and Kabelo Kumalo is a South African author. So this book, guys, to be really honest, I think this is a good book, but based on my understanding and after reading the book, I realized that the formulas that he used and interest rates and percentages and whatever were based on a certain period. I think the period when the book was written. So a lot of things are outdated, and that made it a bit confusing when you were reading the book, because we are in 2024. Okay, well, I read it in 2024, but we are in 2025 now. So imagine reading about interest rates, from 2017 or 2018. So that for me was a bit of a an annoying thing because I constantly had to check up what 2025 rates are and whatever and formulas and so that I can actually try and match up to what he's saying, and it just became a bit annoying. The book has really good lessons, but I think it's too formula related. There's just too much calculations and formulas. I think it's a good book if you are in a business that requires, you know, balance sheets and accounting and whatever, then this would be a good book for you to actually read. But if you literally wanting to read a lot of theory to gain financial literacy, then I don't think this would be the book for you. Maybe you could read it just to gain a bit of theory here and there. It was quite an okay book, but there were just too many formulas for me, and it did become annoying at some point because I was just like, okay. And I also just don't like the fact that he swears a lot. I know the title does actually give me an idea of what I'm going to be reading, but I didn't think that there would also be a lot of swearing in the book. But nevertheless, it wasn't a bad book. It wasn't the best book. It was an okay book. And there were quite good lessons in the book and a lot of things that really made sense, you know, advice and tips and whatever's. But yeah, some of the things I was just like, nah, I don't have to, I don't have to be calculating all these things now while I'm reading. You know, you don't want to be reading a book and then having to pop out your calculator and be calculating. And also, I think this book is not for other people who are in other countries to read, because he uses example of the financial structure, you know, of South Africa and the interest rates from South Africa. So if you are internationally, then I don't know if this book would work out for you, but it wasn't bad. It was quite a good book. The last book is this one. The 5 a.m. Club. Own your morning, elevate your life. Guys, this book was really good. Robin Sharma, guys, this book was good, guys. At first, when I started reading it, I felt like it was a bit slow. But I didn't back down because I always try to give a book a chance. So I gave it a chance, and I think it took me quite some time to read this book. But I eventually finished it. So many lessons I took out from it. I don't want to lie. So many lessons. I won't say the one thing that I took out from this book is A, B, C, and D. No. I took out so many lessons from it, guys. It was generally a really, really great book, guys. I think the biggest thing that anyone who's read this book can tell you about it is that the importance of waking up at 5 a.m. Simple as that. And how waking up at 5 a.m. can actually elevate your life. But that's not the only lesson. There are beautiful lessons in this book. So this book, also a high recommend. So yeah, guys, that was the book review, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. Give the video a thumbs up if you really enjoyed it, and let me know in the comment section if you have any questions about any of the books, if you need any clarity, if you have any comments. Maybe you have read some of the books and you also have a bit of insight and anything that you want to let me know about. Leave a comment in the comment section, guys. Let's discuss, let's unpack. Tell me what stood out for you in certain books that you've read from the books I've mentioned and whatnot. I'll catch you guys in the next video.